Welcome to Sweet Talk. This broadcast is brought to you by the Continuing Education Workforce Training Division of Idaho State University's College of Technology. This podcast is part of our continuing outreach efforts, and the format is conversational. We will be having conversations with businesses, professionals, entrepreneurs, community agencies, and, in all cases, difference makers. Now, let's get started with Sweet Talk. Hello, everyone. This is Jason Batalden, the I just gave myself a promotion, Paul. I just gave myself a title promotion. No, what? This is I was going to call, never mind. You didn't catch that little slip?
I did.
Oh, okay.
I did. Moving up in the world.
No, trust me, I'm not. And I don't have fantasies either. I don't know what the heck I was thinking. I am the Assistant Director at Continuing Education Workforce Training. And we are here today with our good friend Paul. And Paul, he normally is, he is. He's not normally. Paul is always our audio and visual expert in our suite office. But Paul actually has... I'm not going to say more important. Well, I'm going to say a more important job than making sure we look good on camera. Oh, yeah, by the way, Paul, welcome.
Welcome.
And welcome to our podcast, Sweet Talk, folks. Here we go.
Yeah, Jason, at Continuing Education Workforce Training, we're a smaller department than some of the other departments, but we are the non-credit department of the university. We do most of the non-credit stuff. That means we have to do a lot because we have many classes that we offer the community. So a lot of the people in our department do double duties. Right. And when I first started working at Continuing Education Workforce Training years ago, I was an administrative assistant. And then because of growing video skills, I got the position of video instruction manager. And I was doing all the helping instructors create online classes and so forth. But then we had this woman who had been working in the department for such a long time. And unfortunately, you never got to meet Joanne.
No, Joanne, left before I got there.
Joanne Wren, she was our financial person in our department, but again, everyone does double duties. Right. She was also the coordinator of the apprentice program that we have at Idaho State University, Continuing Education Workforce Training. And she'd been doing that for, 20 years. She was the apprenticeship coordinator. So what she would do was she would help the instructors, with their registrations and getting classes coordinated and so forth. But, over time, the program evolved. And as things started going more online, students that couldn't show up to class, that were working out of state, they had to do it through correspondence, meaning that they were mailing their tests and stuff in. And
oh my goodness!
Oh yeah. So they'd be out in, say, Wyoming at the oil rigs, working as an apprentice. So they wouldn't be able to make it to class. So they would be doing assignments, at where they were, and then mailing them in. And at the time, Art, who was our instructor, he had a very, very strict. If I don't get it by the due date, I didn't get it. And it was, so someone who was working out in the fields, it was really frustrating for them. So we started implementing an online component to the correspondence. Right. And so that they could go online to the learning management system, which we use Moodle, and be able to do their assignments online. And that would really kind of help them deliver, be able to consume and deliver their assignments. And as time got moving forward, we realized that we could do the quizzes and homeworks for even the in-class students, so that they could, would be able to access their assignments from within the learning management system and be able to do their assignments online. Well, Joanne was retiring
Right.
And, there was a whole, she was going to retire in a couple of years. The whole hubbub going, well, what are we going to do? What are we going to do?
20 years of institution or a department knowledge.
Right.
There's a hole to fill there.
Yeah. So our director at the time, Jeff Huff, who you will see in a future podcast.
Oh, very good.
Yes.
Good.
Jeff Huff came to me because I've been working with Joanne quite extensively on the online classes because that was my job, to help create onlines. And he said, hey, Joanne's leaving, we need someone to take over the apprenticeship program. Tag, you're it.
You said, yay.
Were
you excited? All right, come on.
The way it was sold to me was generally, Joanne starts up the program, walks away from it, and for the time that it runs from September to April, and then April she closes it out. And pretty much she was like, hands off for the rest of the year, and for most of the year that it was actually running, and the instructors would do the instructions, and it was sink or swim.
Right.
So I started with the program, and pretty much with the same type of attitude with the program. And maybe we should actually talk about what the apprenticeship program is.
Well, yeah, and I mean, we jumped off the springboard there too, Paul, and you brought up some very cool points. So we want to go back to those, but let's just talk for just 1 second. Okay, you mentioned a couple things that are important. It's our apprenticeship program, apprenticeship. There's several different apprentices or apprenticeship programs under our umbrella, and I don't know. Do you want to?
Yeah.
Should we do a little tutorial here with the little website? You want to do a little Zoom expertise and share some screen here and walk us through?
Well, yeah. So I think the first thing we need to do is for anyone who doesn't know what an apprenticeship is, an apprenticeship is a kind of earn as you learn type of program.
Right.
And it consists of two parallel components. Basically, you have on-the-job training, meaning that you're working in the field under the supervision of, in the state of Idaho, a journeyman person in that field, and we'll go through
and what fields, Paul?
So there's 3 licensed fields in the state of Idaho. There's electrical, there's plumbing, and there's HVAC technician. And HVAC is heating and refrigeration. Okay, so someone who's interested in these fields, they find employment and they get a job. So they're making money, and they're learning as they go from their journeyman that's supervising them on the job. But another part of that component, and the component that is the one that we supervise and institute, is the classroom-related training. So with the on-the-job training, you actually come to class and you're learning about those fields in a classroom setting from an instructor who has been doing that job, who has expertise, and who's also a licensed journeyman in that field that they've chosen.
Well, let's talk about that job component for just a moment. So can you be working for, let's say, a plumbing crew, an electrical crew, or an HVAC crew without being an apprentice?
No. In the state of Idaho, if you're interested in doing any of those 3 fields, you must be licensed. You must be a licensed apprentice.
That means you connect with your employer. You just cannot. Unless you're doing just labor, right, which would be cleaning up job sites.
No, you're not
touch a pipe. You can't touch a wrench. You can't touch anything.
Technically, if you're employed under, for a plumbing company, electrical company, or HVAC company, you should be an apprentice and you should be licensed. Technically, you shouldn't even be on a job site. Apprentices, first year apprentices, they, typically they do not have any knowledge base in the field. So because of that, on a work site, they generally do the more mundane tasks, like digging a trench for the electrical wire from the box to the house. That's what an apprentice, a lot of times the first year ones will do. So even to do that job on the site, and you're not touching any wires, you must be a licensed apprentice to be working on that job site.
Okay, so how does that happen?
So if someone's interested in these fields, plumbing, electrical, HVAC, and they want to become an apprentice, to be an apprentice officially, you have to be licensed with Idaho, and the department is Idaho Division of Building Safety, or as their short name is DBS. And you go onto their website, and then you would apply for an apprentice's license. And this is very important. You don't have to be employed yet to apply for that apprentice's license. In fact, having the apprentice's license in pocket while you're looking for a job might be beneficial to you.
Because employers know that they can't hire you unless you are willing to become a licensed apprentice. Right. Does it cost someone to become a licensed apprentice?
Yes, there is. There is a fee, I believe. Don't quote me on this, because again, the licensing portion is very different from the educational portion.
I got you. So we're speaking a little bit out of turn here. We can't speak for the department.
Right. So I believe it's like a $50 fee, and you go online, you fill out the application, you get the fee, and once they have your information, they'll process it. They'll give you a temporary license number emailed to you until you get your actual physical card. And you do get a physical card. And when you're working on a job site, you must have that card on you.
You got to have it in your pocket. You got to have that card in your pocket.
One of our instructors, Todd Wilding, is an electrical inspector for the state of Idaho, and and he will, if he sees new faces on a job site, he will walk up to them and say, "Can I see your card?"
Right. Well, that's what he's supposed to do. That's what an electric. I hope so. These people are wiring my house, right? If I'm buying a house, I want to make sure that the people who are touching, the electricity, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
Know what they're doing. So give Todd credit.
So he'll go out to new faces and say, and a lot of times they go, "I don't have it," and go, "Well, you're supposed to." He says, "I said you're supposed to have it with you." So so they get an apprenticeship license. They can get that either after they find employment or before they find employment. Again, like I said before, finding employment is having that card in hand while you're looking for employment could be beneficial to you, because then a possible employer goes, "Oh, he's serious about this."
Sure. Right.
And right now we're in kind of a construction boom. So we're kind of in the construction boom, and and a lot of employers are looking for help. Right. And and just someone willing to, say, "Hey, I'm looking," they'll take a chance on, because remember, first year apprentices typically has no knowledge base of the job. So what they're doing is the employer's taking a chance, hiring you, and they're looking at going, "Hey, at least he's someone that can dig a trench for me.
Sure.
They can
show up on time.
They can haul wire for me," and they're taking a risk. And what they're hoping is that that you become a valuable employee. And let's go back to that whole apprenticeship model. Again, your first year, they're taking a risk. You have no knowledge base. They're going to give you on-the-job training while you're getting classroom training from us. But what everyone hopes for about this project is the apprentice's knowledge base grows and and as that knowledge base grows, they become more valuable to an employer.
Sure.
They go, "Oh, this guy made it through his first year. He's a second year. Now he can do this stuff on the job site. Now, he goes from his second year to the third year and so on, until finally the whole point of an apprenticeship program, with the on-the-job training and the classroom-related training, is to prepare an apprentice in 4 years, because you're an apprentice for 4 years. I don't think I mentioned that. Apprenticeship is 4 years. To prepare an apprentice for sitting for the journeyman exam, to become a journeyman electrician, plumber, or HVAC technician.
Right.
And right now, industry, they're dying. They want journeymen so badly.
Well, the industry is suffering from the same thing just about every other technical and specific trade industry suffering from, is that thing called that silver tsunami.
Oh yeah,
we've got this huge gap between the older guys and ladies. We do have women in the program. Older individuals who are, journeymen and have been doing it for 2,080 billion years, and they're ready to go fishing. And there's no journeyman there's a gap, right? There's a gap, and we need to fill that gap.
Yeah. So go ahead.
Go ahead. Well, I was just going to say, so that's, I mean, that goes to that education piece, right?
Right.
So the individual walks in, says, hey, I got a job. I'm working for, plumbers, electricians, HVAC. I went out and got my license from the DBS, Department of Building Safety. And now, Paul, I got to be in class. And class starts, by the way, September. So, I mean, it's a closed enrollment, right? You have to enroll at the beginning.
So let's talk about that for a bit. Because I mentioned earlier that Joanne had done the program. We've moved a lot of the the assignments to online, and what we do is we deliver the classroom-related training between September and April. Okay. I believe this year around the week of September 13th is when classes start, and they'll run to the first or second week in April, depending on the number of holidays that fall on classroom days this year. Because the requirement for the education is you're required to, again, for the on-the-job training, you need 2,000 hours each year for the 4 years. Right. That's a full-time job.
That is.
And for the educational portion, you need a minimum of 144 hours of classroom education.
Every year.
So that's, so you're coming to us for that classroom education. And from September to April, that's where you're going to get your classroom training. Now, we don't want to interfere with your job. So we have these classes at night. So they happen in the evenings. They happen at the ISU campus at the Roy F. Christensen building. Mm-hmm. And you come, and they're between 6:30 and 9:30. And then you come and you participate in the lectures. We have really great.
Come every night of the week, though, or what?
No. It's 1 or 2 nights a week. It's one or two nights a week. So it's not every night. It's not gonna, it is classroom time. So you are supposed to be there to get your hours. And we have some really great instructors who work in the field. Todd Wilding, I mentioned before, he's actual electrical inspector. We have the Matt Neeser, who is the motor guy at Simplot, and he teaches the motor component of the apprenticeship, which you couldn't have a better instructor. I mean, this is what he does all the day, hands every day. Electrical motors.
Program, right?
Yep, in the electrical program. Eric Turner, he owns Mechanical Solutions, which is a local HVAC company, and he works on commercial and residential systems. He touches this stuff every day. We have one of the gentlemen that work underneath him, Otis, who has been doing this forever. He's gone through our program. And then we have Chris Hare, who also works for the Division of Building Safety, who teaches the code component of the HVAC program. And he went through our program as well. And then for plumbing, we have Ike Sutherland, who is the plumbing inspector for the city of Pocatello. And we have Hugh Garland, who's a gentleman that is a local plumber in the area and one of the greatest troubleshooters there is. He's one of those guys that you call when you're having a problem with your plumbing, and he walks in and he can tell you exactly what the problem is, because he's been doing that. And the thing is, troubleshooting is one of the most difficult things when you're a plumber, because you're walking into any type of situation and you have to assess what's wrong and be able to evaluate and fix it, and with a modicum of saving that time and the work. And he is really fantastic at that, and he's been doing that over 20 years. And again, all of these gentlemen have gone through an apprenticeship program, regardless of ours or some other program.
Well, and that's the point. I mean, you don't become a journeyman in either of those fields without an apprenticeship program. And I think the truth of the matter is, too, and unfortunately we don't have anybody else on the podcast with us today, but I mean, you make a good living. A journeyman plumber, you're busy. A journeyman electrician, journeyman HVAC, you're working hard, but it's because it is a specific skill, a trained skill, and a necessary skill. It is What's the term nowadays, Paul? It's an essential worker.
It's essential. And let's talk about wages for just a moment. Now, I can't speak to dollar amount because everyone pays it differently. But if you start doing research, you'll find out in Pocatello what the base is. But the one thing I can speak out is one of the other advantages of our apprenticeship is it's a clear, defined goal on wage increases.
Yes.
Because typically your wage increase when your apprenticeship is based on your transfer from, say, year 1 to year 2, from year 2 to year 3, and so forth. So when you're going to get your increases, it's based on how you evolved in the program until you get to your journeyman, then you get your wage increase, and then after that, companies give it on merit. But the thing is, it's so funny because at the end of the year, when you finish my program and you've gotten your minimum 144 hours of education, and you do need a grade of 70% or higher to pass, then what we do is we issue certificates to say that you've completed the program for that year, and then you're ready to go on to the next year. Well, at the end of the year, I am inundated with when are we getting our certificates? When are we getting because they'll get their wage increase based on getting their certificates. I have wives and girlfriends call me, when is my husband getting a certificate?
I gotta go to Red Lobster, man, and my husband's gonna take me to Red Lobster, so we gotta get this thing care of. That's great. I love that.
Again, the greatest advantage to the apprenticeship program is it allows you entry into a field that you have no or limited knowledge base of. It gives you a tier learning plan between on-the-job training and classroom-related training. Is that 20 minutes?
We got to look. We never make 20 minutes.
I can't believe that.
Anyway, so yes, it's the classroom. Hey, we got to finish this up because Paul, the one thing we got to not talk before we got to nail down. Go ahead, do the Zoom thing.
Oh yeah. So anyone who's interested in the apprenticeship program, the way that you can apply or register for the course, because there's no formal application and there's no prerequisite. If you're interested in this, again, what you need to do is find yourself employment, which the easiest or the best advice I can give you for finding employment is to find out all the local companies in the area and go to them. Say, I want to be an apprentice. Again, if you have your apprentice license in pocket, that might give you an advantage on finding a job. But right now we're in a construction boom and they are looking for help. So if you're willing and able, people will give you a chance. Again, for the employer, they look at a year one going, this is really me not taking a chance because I can get some work out of them. Because again, it might not pan out. You might find that this isn't the thing that you want to do, but this is such an opportunity to get in on the ground level with little or no experience. Now, if you're interested in this, and you do need to register for our classes, you can go to our website. I'm going to share my screen for a second.
Yep.
So I am sharing my screen. And so this is our website. You can see at the top here, the address for the website is cetrain.isu.edu. And that's how you find our website. And then if you go to the second banner below, you'll see across here all programs. If you click on that, that's going to give you to this page, and down below, that will lead you to the apprenticeship programs that we have that you can register for: electrical, HVAC, and plumbing.
Right on.
Okay. Also, I just want to point out this button here, View Handout PDF. This is where you can find the book list for the program that you're interested in. Because, again, this is classroom-related training. I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a sec.
Okay.
This is classroom-related training. So, of course, this course material, you're going to need books. And I have to tell your first-year books are probably going to be a little pricey because a lot of that has to do with some code books. But, your code books will generally last you 3 years out of the 4 years of the program. And price, we didn't talk about price.
Right.
So currently, registration fee is $750 for the apprenticeship programs. That's any of those programs, HVAC, plumbing, or electrical. And again, you go to that web page, you register, and you would pay for this program from that web page. You can also call our office if you'd rather call the office to register. And that number is 208-282-3372. Okay. If you have any additional questions, reach out to me. Reach out to me.
We'll put all the contact information right on the link. So
and
we'll have your email address.
And my number is 208-282-1077.
There you go.
Okay. And so feel free to contact me with any questions you might have. Now, the one thing I did want to go, and I know we're going over, Jason.
Yeah, we always go over.
Yeah, I know. I mentioned earlier that our classroom course material is online. The quizzes, homework, semester tests are online. But the one thing I did not mention is we stream the lectures. So if someone has a camera and microphone at their home, they can participate in the lectures that way.
Right. On their computers.
On their computers.
Right.
Yeah, on the computers, and that way they can participate in the lectures, and they don't have to come to the face-to-face classroom. You know, when the university shut down in March because of the COVID crisis, this saved my program. Because, basically we do have face-to-face classrooms, so if you rather come in and do a face-to-face session, that's great. But, for when the COVID thing happened, all I had to do is say, well, we don't have face-to-face. It's all just the online lectures right now. Right. And then we record the lectures, which is really great, especially as if they go over certain concepts that you're having some difficulty with, you can replay those concepts over and over. And the instructors do make themselves quite available to the students. Their email addresses are always available for the students to send them. There's just so much to go over in this program. 20 minutes was not enough.
It was not enough, but I think the other issue we want to hit is really quick. Is you've got until essentially September 1st to register.
No.
Up to September 13th then, or what?
So basically, if you want to register online, you have to do that up to 2 days prior to the class starting. Okay. Right. If you want to register after that 2 days, contact me, and I will make sure you get in. We do not have a maximum on the registration classrooms because industry needs help. Yep. And we're not going to pigeonhole industry out there because we'll say, hey, we can only teach 24 people in a classroom at a time this year. Nope. I'd rather take on new instructors and make sure industry has the help that they need than not take a student in.
That's right. So with that being said, reach out to us. If you're interested, you got more questions. Paul, you got his information here on the podcast. It will be in the obviously in all the stuff we post with it underneath. And the truth of the matter is the industry needs help. If you are remotely interested, this is a great way to get introduced, get into the job field, and make a pretty good living while you're doing it. And that's cool. That's cool. Yes.
Hey, Jason, I just have to, I really feel that we have to mention this. Your son's an apprentice.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, my son is an apprentice. He's entering into his third year. And he was a little unsure when he got started whether he wanted to go into the field. He's in the plumbing field. And now he has visions. He has visions of having a truck with his name on the side of it. His employer has been super, super helpful. And he's learning quite a bit. The bottom line is the industry needs journeymen. And so, that's what he's working towards that field. So I consider him a success story for it. He loves it a lot. So,
when he went into the field, he didn't know anything, did he?
No. Other than how to dig a hole. I mean, and to be honest, he was digging a lot of trench that first year, but because he worked hard in the class, he got his raises. He's going to have a company rig here this year. That's going to be the perk for him. He doesn't have to drive his personal vehicle anymore. The bottom line is he's doing
well. And that's the whole thing. He's been rewarded by his employer because he's become more valuable over the years, correct?
Yep. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Okay. So, hey, Paul, We're supposed to set the example for 20 minutes.
I know.
We never do. We never set the example.
I have so much more to even say, but we got to go.
We do.
Again, 208-282-1077 if you need to ask me some additional questions. I'm always there to help my students with anything that they need.
Right on. All right, Paul, thank you very much. And again, just want to make sure, reach out to our website if you have any questions, cetrain@isu.edu. That's cetrain@isu.edu. And this was Sweet Talk, and we want to big a shout out to our 7 loyal listeners. And we just want to encourage you to, if you like what you hear, share us, help us out, and have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.